Good morning, students. Today, in this video, we are going to learn a few topics of fuels and combustion and concept of heat reaction and stoichiometric. Coming to the first topic, fuels and combustion. That fuel is a substance which once raised to ignition temperature, it will continue to burn without any external support if sufficient oxygen is available. See here, we all know that we are having a fuel. When we are going to, by burning of the fuel, we are going to get some temperature. If oxygen is available, if the oxygen is available in sufficient way, the fuel can be raised and to continue to burn without any external support here. And the conventional fuels or fossil fuels belong to hydrocarbon family and mainly consists of H2 and carbon. Here we are having some fossil fuels which comes under hydrocarbon family and it consists of H2 and carbon. See, this is about the fuel that the first topic which we are dealing in this video or in this session is about fuels and combustion. Now I have explained you that what is meant by a fuel. Fuel means nothing but of if the sufficient oxygen is available here, we did not need any external support for raising the temperature by using of this fuel. And coming to the combustion, combustion means nothing but of burning which releases heat. Means combustion means the burning which releases heat here. Combustion of fuel is an exothermic reaction, and to understand these, the knowledge of chemistry is essential here. Combustion of fuel is an exothermic means that after doing combustion, the heat is extracted in to the outside. See here, the fuels are classified into three groups as solid fuel, liquid fuel, and gaseous fuels. See, we all know that the fuels are of different types. How we have named here. These fuels are natural as well as are artificial. See, coming to the first solid fuel, coal is the most important solid fuel more, which we can see morely. Coke is the product of destructive distillation of certain soft coals in closed retards. In closed retards, the coke is the product of destructive distillation. See here, coke is the product. It is the product of from where we are getting this coke means is nothing but of destructive distillations of soft coals in closed retards. When the coals, the soft coals are in closed retards, we are going to get this destructive distillation. By using of this destructive distillation, the coke is going to be formed. See, the coal are of different types which we are having here. First one is nothing but of the briquetted coal. See, coke is the product of distributed distillation of certain soft coals, and briquetted coal is the product of briquetting of dry coal by pressure. By applying of the dry coal, by applying of the pressure, this by using of briquetting dry coal, the briquetted coal is produced here. It is the product of the briquetted coal. And since I am telling from the previous classes about the pulverizing means nothing but of which is formed into a powder formation, or which can be into break up into the coal has been break up into small pieces. See here, the pulverized coal is the powder form of coal by pulverizing it. See here, the coal which is getting from outside is a larger in size, and after getting into the power plants, we are going to pulverize the coal into small pieces here. See here, and the pulverized coal is the powdered form, means nothing but it is going to be powdered it is going to be formed in a powdered formation by pulverizing it when we are making into small pieces. The composition of coal is determined by two ways. That the coal is having some compositions. These compositions can be determined in two ways, that by approximate analysis and ultimate analysis. By using of these two ways, we are going to get the composition of coal. In the proximate analysis, the moisture content, volatile matter, fixed carbon, and ash in the coal is determined. See here, in the proximate analysis, we are going to get all this moisture content, which is available there near the coal, or volatile matter, which is in the carbon, which is in the coal, and the fixed carbon, which is in the coal, and ash in the coal. And ash in the coal is determined here by using of this proximate analysis. And coming to the ultimate analysis, the constituents of coal such as H2, CO2, SN2, and ash are determined here. Here, based on the percentage of C and ash, carbon and ash, coal is further subdivided into the coal here is subdivided into different grades such as anthracite, bituminous, semi-bituminous, lignite, peat, and wood. By using of these carbon and ash, it has been divided into subcategories as anthracite, bituminous, semi-bituminous, lignite, peat, and wood. This is about the solid fuels which we can study here. We are having the fuels are of three types. The first solid fuel which we have completed now. That in the solid fuels we have learned that coal is the most important solid fuel, and we are having some products of the coal such as coke and briquetted and pulverized coal. And we have learned in the solid fuel about the composition, how we are determining in two ways such as proximate analysis as well as ultimate analysis. In the proximate analysis, we are going to determine the moisture content, volatile matter, fixed carbon, and ash in the coal. And in the ultimate analysis, we are going to determine the H2C, O2, and S and N2 values. So here, based on the percentage of C and ash, coal is further divided into anthracite, bituminous, semi-bituminous, lignite, peat, and wood. This is about the solid fuels. And next one is about liquid fuels. See here, when crude petroleum is refined, it gives when we are going to refine the crude petroleum, it gives petrol, kerosene, diesel, and lubricated oils, which we know and which we are seeing in the outside market. See here, petroleum is an interlocation of a mixture of hydrocarbon compounds of CnH, H2n plus 2 plus CnH2n H2n, CnH2n minus 2, and CnH2n minus 4 families. This petroleum is an interlocation mixture of these hydrocarbon compounds such as H2n plus 2. It is a mixture of, see here, H2n, H2n minus 2, and H2n minus 4. This is and liquid fuels have higher calorific value, more clean, occupies less space, and easy to control in combustion. When we are doing combustion, it is very easy to control the combustion in liquid fuels. Coming to the next topic, the next topic is about gaseous fuels. Gaseous fuels are nothing but of natural gas, coke gas, producer gas. These are the three types of gaseous fuels which we can observe here. And many of these natural gas, coke gas, and producer gas, mainly which we are using in the industrial application purposes, where the product should not contaminate the atmosphere or where uniform heating is required. See here, the gaseous fuels which we are using cannot um, contaminate the atmosphere, means it does not harm the atmosphere where uniform heating is required. When the uniform heating is done there, natural gas is generally found in petroleum fields and the remaining are of the artificial fields. See here, coke oven gas is obtained. Here some gas we are getting out as a byproduct of coke oven and is used in the furnace of steel mills. In steel mills, we are going to use this coke oven which is obtained by the product of coke oven in the steel mills. See here, we are having in gaseous fuels, we are having natural gas, we are having coke gas, and we are having the producer gas. Now itself, I have told you that natural gas is generally found in petroleum fields, and this coke oven gas, we are going to see this in steel mills. And coming to the producer gas is produced by passing air with a small quantity of steam through a thick fuel bed where the fuel has burned incompletely. See, where the fuel has been incompletely, there we are going to use this producer gas. Means the producer gas is produced by passing air with small quantity of steam through a thick fuel bed. When we are going to pass the small quantity of steam into a thick fuel bed, this producer gas is going to be produced. This consists of high amount of hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon monoxide. See here, we are having some types of fuels here. So coming to type of fuel, we are having solid fuels, liquid fuels, and gaseous fuels. By using of this type of fuel, we are having what are the coals which are natural, which are using the natural fuel and which are using in the artificial fuel. See, coming to the solid type of fuel, we are having a coal as anthracite, bituminous, semi-bituminous, lignite, peat, and wood, which I have said you in the previous slide. And coming to the artificial fuel, coming to the solid type, we are having coke, pulverized fuel, barricade, and charcoal. See here, and coming to the liquid, the natural fuels are nothing but of petroleum. And the artificial fuels which we are preparing is nothing but of gasoline, kerosene, fuel oil, alcohol, benzol, etc. Artificial which we are preparing here. But the petroleum which is coming naturally. And some of the gaseous fuels are nothing but of natural gas, and the artificial fuel gas are nothing but of producer gas, blast furnace gas, coal gas, and acetylene. These are some of the types of fuels which we are using in thermal power plants. So here, coming to the calorific value of fuel, what is meant by a calorific value? That we should know clearly what is meant by a calorific value. Calorific value is nothing but a complete combustion of unit mass of fuel. Means the combustion should be completely done here. It is defined as heat liberated when we are going to complete the unit, when we are going to complete the unit mass of combustion, then the heat which is generated is nothing but of a calorific value. Simply we can study here that calorific value of fuel is the total quantity of heat liberated by complete combustion of unit mass or volume of the fuel. See here, when we are going to burn, or when we are going to do combustion, or when we are going to do the combustion of the fuel, what is the total quantity of heat which is getting by when we are going to burn a unit mass of the fuel? This is nothing but of a calorific value. Calorific value means nothing but of the total quantity of heat liberated by complete combustion of a unit mass of the fuel. See here we are having two calorific values, namely higher calorific value and lower calorific values. See here, coming to higher calorific values, it is the total amount of heat liberated when unit mass per volume of the fuel is burnt completely and the products of combustion have been cooled to room temperature. See here, it is the total mass of heat liberated when unit mass per volume of the fuel is burnt completely and the products of combustion have been cooled to room temperature. We should observe here that calorific, here we knows the definition of calorific value that what is meant by a calorific value means when we are going to do combustion of a unit mass of fuel, some amount of heat is going to be extracted here. Here, a higher calorific value means nothing but the products of combustion have been, what are the products which we are combustioning here, have been cooled to room temperature. See here, this is same as that of calorific value, that it is the total amount of heat liberated means the heat which is generating out when we are going to do burning or when we are going to do combustion of the products. After getting or after doing combustion, it should be cooled up to the room temperature. Then we are going to say this as higher calorific value. See here, coming to low calorific value, it is same as that of the higher calorific value, but a slight difference or a small variation is there, that it is the net amount of heat liberated when unit mass per volume of the fuel is burned completely and the products of combustion are allowed to escape. See here, coming to the higher calorific value, it should be cooled to the room temperature after combustion process. And coming to the lower calorific value, it should be the products of combustion are allowed to escape into the atmosphere. This is the main difference of higher calorific value as compared with the lower calorific values here. And coming to the next topic, in this lecture, we are going to study or we are going to know about three topics. That the first topic which we have studied up to now is about fuels and combustion. The first topic which we are studied is about fuels and combustion, and the second topic now which we are going to study is about concept of heat reaction. Coming to here, heat reaction means heat, when the heat is going to be generated, some reaction is going to be takes place there. See, by the definition itself, it is defined as the amount of heat which should be added or removed during a chemical reaction to keep all the substances involved at the same temperature. For keeping all the substances at the same temperature, we are going to add some heat or we are going to remove some heat in a chemical reaction process. You can observe, you can easily understand that for keeping all the substances at the same temperature without getting any variations in the temperature, for keeping all the substances at the same temperature, the heat which we are adding here, or for keeping the same temperature, we are going to remove the heat here. When we are going to add or remove heat during a chemical reaction process is nothing but of heat of reaction. If heat of reaction is positive, if when we are going to add the heat here, if it is positive, then the reaction is said to be endothermic reaction. If heat of reaction is negative, means if we are going to add the heat here in a chemical reaction process, then the reaction is known as exothermic reaction. See here, we can observe about the heat of reaction can be given here. Delta H observed, delta H is equal to heat observed minus heat rejected. Means what is the heat which is observed here when we are to keep all the substances at the same temperature when we are doing the chemical reaction process. The heat observed minus what is the heat rejected is nothing but of heat of reaction. In a chemical reaction, when methane reacts with oxygen to give carbon dioxide, water and heat of reaction rejects Q1 amount of heat here. See here, we can observe that how the reaction is going to be formed here. In a chemical reaction, how when we are going to add the heat or when we are going to remove the heat, what is the chemical reaction which takes place here, that we can observe here. When methane reacts with oxygen to give carbon dioxide, water, and heat of a reaction rejects Q1 amount of heat. See here, we can observe here, when methane plus carbon dioxide, when methane reacts with oxygen, see here, when methane reacts with oxygen to give carbon dioxide, water, and heat of rejection, water and heat of reaction rejects q1 amount of heat, means it is going to reject here. It is the heat is rejecting here, since we are taking here minus value. We are adding here that methane is going to react with the carbon dioxide with oxygen to give carbon dioxide, means the methane is going to be reacts with oxygen to give carbon dioxide. When it is going to give the carbon dioxide, then see here the q1 amount of heat is rejected out. This is an example of an exothermic reaction. In a chemical reaction, when barium hydroxide octahydrate reacts with ammonium nitrate to give ammonium, and heat of reaction observes q1 amount of heat here. You need to observe carefully here that in chemical reaction doing here, the heat is going to rejects here q1 amount of heat, and coming to here q1 amount of heat observes here. Heat of reaction observes q1 amount of heat, means when heat is observing here, it is known as an endothermic reaction. When the heat is going to be rejected here, this is known as an exothermic reaction. When these barium hydroxide octahydrate, see here, barium hydroxide octahydrate reacts with ammonium nitrate to give this 2NH3 plus 10H2O, means ammonium nitrate plus hydrogen, this water, plus when it is going to react with this, some amount of heat is going to be observed here. Q1 amount of heat is going to be observed here. When it is going to observe, we are naming this as an endothermic reaction here. See here, coming to the next topic is about the stoichiometry. See here, the topic which we are studying in this video is nothing but of fuels and combustion, concept of heat reaction, and stoichiometry. Coming to here, up to now we have studied about heat reaction, how the heat is going to be when we are doing some chemical reaction, what is the heat reactions we are observed here. And the last topic which we are studying in this video is nothing but of stoichiometry. See here, coming to stoichiometry, we can observe here that stoichiometry air fuel mixture consists of sufficient oxygen for the complete combustion of fuel. For completing the full combustion, or for completing the combustion of fuel, sufficient oxygen is required for this stoichiometric air fuel mixture. See here, without oxygen, we cannot complete the combustion of fuel in the stoichiometry. See here, the mixture containing excess air. If we are having excess air, the mixture containing excess air is called a weak mixture. If we are going to mix air here, the stoichiometry air fuel mixture means we are mixing both the air as well as fuel. If we are going to take more excess air here, it is named as a weak mixture, and that containing less air is called a rich mixture. If we are going to mix air, excess air, we are going more than the air which we required here, then we are going to name these as a weak mixture. And that containing less air, if we are going to give somewhat less air which we can require more than that, is called a rich mixture here. The ratio is expressed in terms of volume basis for gaseous fuels and in terms of mass basis for solids or liquid fuels. See here, we are having some ratio in gaseous fuels, solids are of liquid fuels. If excess air is supplied, then the percentage of excess air can be calculated by using the relation here. Here the stoichiometric air fuel mixture means how we are going to mix the air in excess or in a rich mixture. Means excess or weak mixture. And we are going to mix more than that, we are going to name this as a weak mixture. If we are going to give less than that of what we required is nothing but of a rich mixture. It is going to be in the gaseous fuel formation or solids or in liquid formation. If excess air is supplied, then the percentage of excess air can be calculated by using the relation. We are going to calculate by using the percentage in this way, that percentage of excess air is equal to actual air which we are taking here, the fuel ratio and the stoichiometric air ratio by stoichiometric air minus fuel air ratio for calculating the percentage of excess air. For calculating the percentage of excess air, we need to use the equation that what is the actual air which has been given, or what is the fuel ratio, what is the fuel ratio which you are using here, and what is the stoichiometric air which we are taking here, and stoichiometric air and fuel ratio for calculating the percentage of excess air. And the mixture strength can be calculated as mixture strength is equal to stoichiometric air minus fuel ratio by stoichiometric air minus fuel ratio. This is what for calculating the mixture strength. Mixture strength means what fuel air mixture, how we are going to mix the fuel air. For calculating how much amount of mixture and we are going to mix the fuel and air here, we can calculate that stoichiometric air minus fuel ratio by stoichiometric air minus fuel ratio. This is what how to calculate the mixture, and the working range of mixture strength varies between 80% weak and 120% rich here. This is what which we are going to study in this video about the fuels and combustion and concept of heat reaction and stoichiometry. Coming to the first topic, in a brief way, I will tell you in 2 or 3 points about the fuels and combustion and concept of heat reaction and stoichiometry. In fuels and combustion, the fuel means nothing but of when we are going to without giving any excess of air or fuel. Once we are going to burn the fuel, it is automatically used to burn, and the combustion is nothing but of which we have seen here, means burning which releases heat is nothing but of a combustion here. These combustion fuels and combustion, these fuels are of three types which we can study: solid fuels, gaseous fuels, and liquid fuels. We have studied in this video one by one clearly. And coming to here, the concept of heat reaction, when chemical reaction has been done, what is the reactions, what are the heat reactions which are going to be changed when we are naming the endothermic and exothermic reactions here. We can clearly understand that what is meant by a calorific value here. Calorific value means nothing but of that a unit mass of fuel can be completely burned is nothing but of calorific value which we can study here. We are having high calorific value as well as low calorific value. When it is the combustion has been cooled to room temperature, means that is up to 15 degrees Celsius, we are naming this as higher calorific value. And the products of combustion are allowed to escape after the combustion process, we are naming this as lower calorific value here. See here, this is about the heat reaction, how the heat reaction takes place here. That what I have told you, that when we are going to add or remove the air, when we are doing some chemical reaction process, what is the reactions which has been takes place here. We can observe the heat rejection, reactions which has been takes place here is nothing but of the exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. In exothermic reaction, the heat is going to be rejected, and in coming to the endothermic reaction, the heat is observed here. See, coming to the stoichiometry, the stoichiometry means nothing. For complete combustion process, the oxygen is sufficient oxygen is required here. Without a sufficient oxygen, we are unable to complete the combustion of a fuel here. See here, the mixture means the air fuel mixture we are doing here. What is the air we are mixing here to the fuel is nothing but of, if we are going to take the excess air, we are naming this as a weak mixture, and if we are taking less air, we are naming this as a rich mixture here. The ratio of these gaseous fuels, solid or liquid fuels, the percentage of excess air can be calculated here by using of the equation that actual air minus fuel ratio minus stoichiometric air ratio by stoichiometric air minus fuel ratio. These are some of the equations which we are used to calculate the percentage as well as the mixture strength here. These working of mixture strength varies between 80% of weak and 120% of rich. This is what which we have studied about the three topics in this video. Thank you. Thank you. If you are having any doubts, please contact me or mail to this mail ID.